Hello and welcome to the Coding Bytes. I am Abhishek Parmar, and in this video we will solve some questions of data structures of Capgemini. But before starting the video, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon so that you never miss any update. And with this, let's get started. So this is our first question. So here I am assuming that you are familiar with the concepts of time complexity and doubly linked list. And for those who do not know about doubly linked list, so doubly linked list is a collection of nodes having three parts. One part is data part and the other two are pointers. Now assuming we have n nodes in this doubly linked list, so for inserting a node in doubly linked list, we will have to traverse each node. So because of this, the time complexity for inserting a node in doubly linked list is O of n. So our answer is O of n. Now the next question is, linked list is considered as an example of dash type of memory allocation. So as you know, linked list is a collection of nodes and nodes are created at runtime using DMA, that is dynamic memory allocation. So our answer will be dynamic. Now moving to the next question. So the next question is, what does stack underflow refers to? So I hope you all are familiar with stack. So stack underflow is a state when we try to remove items from an empty stack. So our answer will be removing items from an empty stack. Now the next question is, the data structure required to check whether an expression contains balanced parenthesis is stack, queue, array or tree. So checking an expression having balanced parenthesis is a very popular problem in data structures, and for this you only need a stack. So our answer will be stack. So in this question we will have to find the result of the postfix expression, and for this we will use a stack. So let's take a stack first. Then we will have to follow some simple steps. So the steps are, we will push each element in the stack if it is an operand. But if it is an operator, then we will take two elements from the stack and we will perform an operation on the removed elements, and then we will push the result again back in the stack. So first of all we will put the 5 in the stack, then we will put 4 in the stack, and with this we will also put 6 in the stack. But once we encounter an operator which is plus here, so we will take two elements from the stack and perform the operation of addition. So we will take 6 and 4 from the stack and then we perform addition on 6 and 4. So adding 6 and 4 will give us 10. So now we will push 10 in the stack. Now after this there is another operator which is a multiplication operator. So again we will take two elements from the stack. So we will take 10 and 5 from the stack. And now on multiplying 5 with 10 we will get 50. Now we will push the result which is 50 in the stack. After this we have three operands 4, 9 and 3. So we will push 4, 9 and 3 in the stack. After this there is a division operator. Now in this case we will again take two elements from the stack which are 9 and 3. So on dividing 9 with 3 we will get the result 3. So now again we will push the result in the stack. Then the next element is a plus operator. So again we will take two elements from the stack. After adding 4 and 3 we will get 7. So now again we will push 7 in the stack. Now there is one more operator, multiplication operator. So one more last time we will take two elements from the stack which are 7 and 50. Now on multiplying 50 with 7 we will get 350. So our answer is 350. So the next question is, consider the following operation performed on a stack of size 5. So there are some operations given, and after the completion of all the operation the number of elements present in the stack are. So you have to tell the number of elements which are present in the stack after performing these operations. So this is a really easy question. In this question, first of all, we will take a stack of size 5. Then we will start the operation of push and pop. So first of all, we have push 1, which means we will push 1 in the stack. After this, the next statement is pop. So now we will remove this element from the stack. Now once again our stack is empty. So now after this we have push 2, which means we will push the element 2 in the stack. Then the next statement is push 3, so we will push 3 in the stack. Now due to the pop operation we will again remove one element from the stack. After this we have to push 4 in the stack. Now after this, as you can see, we have two pop operations. So because of this we will pop 4 and 2 from the stack. So now the stack will be empty. Now the last operation is push 5, so we will push 5 in the stack. So as you can see, after the completion of all operations we have one element in the stack. So that means our answer is 1. So the next question is, a queue follows which principle? So we have four options. So queue is basically a linear and ordered data structure which follows the principle of first in first out. So our answer is first in first out, which is A option. So moving to the 8th question, which type of traversal of binary search tree outputs the value in sorted order? So we have four options: pre-order, in-order, post-order. So as you know, binary search tree has a root, a left subtree and a right subtree. and the value of left subtree is always less than root, and the value of root is always less than right subtree, as you can see on this example. So when we apply in-order traversal on the binary search tree, so first of all we will access the data of left subtree, then the data of root, and at the end the data of right subtree, and we will get the values in sorted order. So our answer is in-order traversal. So moving to the next question, consider the usual implementation of parenthesis balancing program using stack. What is the maximum number of parentheses that will appear on stack at any instance of time during the analysis? So we have 4 options, 1, 2, 3 or 4. So for this, first of all we will take a stack and then we will insert an opening parenthesis in the stack, and when we get a closing parenthesis we will remove an opening parenthesis from the stack. So this way we will calculate the number of parentheses that appear on a stack at any instance of time. So as you can see in the input, we have 2 opening parentheses. So first of all we will put both the opening parentheses in the stack, and at this point of time we have 2 parentheses in the stack. After this we have a closing parenthesis, so for this we will take 1 opening parenthesis from the stack. Now on moving forward we have 2 opening parentheses, so after this we will again push these 2 opening parentheses in the stack. And as you can see at this point of time we have 3 parentheses in the stack. Now after this we have 2 closing parentheses, so for these 2 closing parentheses we will take 2 opening parentheses from the stack. Now once again we have 2 opening parentheses, so again we will put these 2 opening parentheses in the stack. After this at the end we have 3 more closing parentheses, and for these 3 closing parentheses we will take all the opening parentheses from the stack. So according to this we can see our expression is balanced, and we have 3 parentheses that will appear on a stack at any instance of time during the analysis of this expression. So our answer is 3. Now moving to the last question of this video, the time complexity of bubble sort in best case is. So in bubble sort algorithm we have 2 loops. One is a nested loop present inside the outer loop, but when we talk about the best case time complexity of bubble sort, so it is theta of n. So our answer is theta of n. Now I hope all the explanations are clear, but still if you have any doubt you can ask me in the comment section of this video, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. Thanks for watching.